everyone, and welcome to episode 1 of Ghouly Pleasures. I'm Kendra.
And I'm Darcy, and today we're going to be reviewing the first 2 episodes of Talamasca and the first episode of Welcome to Derry. Before we do that, though, we just want to let you know who we are and what we hope for this podcast to be as we move forward. Kendra and I are longtime horror buffs.
Long time.
We've known each other for many years and watched way too many horror movies together. We've probably started to run out of actual horror content at this point.
The good, the bad, the ugly, all of them.
All of it. And sometimes the worst of it is the best of it, if you
We
know
love
what I
a
mean.
bad horror too.
Yes. So to get started on this podcast, we're going to be recording the full first season of both Welcome to Derry and Talamasca. And then moving forward, we plan to discuss our thoughts and have fun reviewing different horror movies and different horror shows as they come along.
We're still in the planning phases of this. We just want to talk about the things we love. Maybe we'll do like we talked about doing a horror movie or show tier list. I think that could be fun for an episode. There's
Yeah,
a bunch
definitely.
of horror movies we haven't seen yet that we plan to review at some point.
Yes.
So if you guys know any ideas or like niche things you think we probably haven't seen, we probably seen it. But it'll let us know. We might look into it. We might do a review on it.
Yeah, and sometimes a good rewatch is always fun as well.
Yes.
So now that we've told you guys a little bit about us, we're going to get in today's episode, and it's episode 1 to start of Talamasca, which is a part of the Anne Rice Connected Universe.
Yes, we love Anne Rice.
Yes.
Well, we love Interview with the Vampire.
Yeah, to be clear, we love Interview with the Vampire. I mean, I'm sure we both watched the original Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Antonio Banderas.
What a time.
Yes, and that was a great movie for what it was at the time.
For the time, yes, it was enjoyable. But we didn't realize it could be as good as it was when it got to the.
I feel like so many of us lived off of that one movie for so long, and we never knew how much better it could get until
I remember being apprehensive when I heard that they were making one.
Yes.
I'm like, don't remake a classic. That's a classic movie. It's perfect the way it is.
Right.
Gosh. Boy, was I wrong.
So wrong. So wrong. Oh my gosh. So, Mayfair Witches.
That was also a show.
It had potential. Everyone has their own likes and dislikes. It personally just didn't hit the same level, I feel, as Interview with the Vampire did. So we're not such big fans of Mayfair Witches, but we're going into Talamasca with an open mind.
Yes, we want to see how it compares to both Interview with the Vampire and Mayfair Witches and see the differences between how all these shows are trying to incorporate itself into the Anne Rice universe.
All right, so let's start talking about the first episode of Talamasca. It was written and directed by John Lee Hancock, who seems to be a driving force for bringing this to the screen. He's done some horror. He wrote actually, and I believe he also directed a movie called Mr. Harrigan's Phone, which is a horror movie.
Never heard of it personally, but maybe
exactly
might have to check it out. Let us know if you guys seen it.
It came out in 2022, so it's pretty recent. But other than that, he's done some different things. He did screenplay for Snow White and the Huntsman. He did The Blind Side.
Sandra Bullock, The Blind Side.
Yes, Sandra Bullock, The Blind Side. And The Alamo. So he's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, he's had a career.
Yeah, that's not always a bad thing. He's been around the block with genre, so he's going to bring different things.
I would have to say this show maybe isn't technically the type of horror we usually will cover on this, because it's basically just a spy thriller with supernatural elements.
Yeah.
So it's not technically like the real horror we will get into, because we are watching Welcome to Derry 2, which that's horror.
Right. More of a pure horror genre. Although maybe this will become more not typical, but more of a real horror as we progress
Yeah, we
in.
don't really know. It's just only 2 episodes.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens. But right now, it's leaning more into the spy genre, but we'll see what happens. Okay. So let's get into the episode. It starts with a woman in London breaking into what appears to be a Talamasca headquarters.
Mhm,
And she is clearly not supposed to be there. She's covering security cameras, going through files, and she pulls out something that said chrysalis.
mhm.
We don't know what this is at this time,
Not at all.
but she downloads this information about the chrysalis onto a USB and she flees the headquarters.
She flees the scene, she gets the hell out of there.
Exactly, but not fast enough and not secretly enough because she ends up being tailed by someone or something.
Something.
And she's quick to pick up on it and decides apparently that the USB is more important than anything because she takes the time to find a place to hide the USB in a park before she continues her escape. She ends up in a seemingly deserted train yard, but she's not alone for long because those creatures that were following her turn up. And they're humanoid, but there's
Yeah, we
definitely
don't really
something
know
off
I
about them.
didn't know what they were when they first appeared.
Neither did I, and I still don't. There hasn't really been
I
a
don't think
true
they
answer.
explained really what those are.
Not yet, and we really didn't even get a good look. They were mostly in shadows so
Yeah.
far. But a man shows up and he like makes a click. It seems like he has a clicker in his hand and he clicks. And these creatures clearly make to attack this woman.
Mhm.
And rather than let what appears to be a brutal death happen to her, she decides to step in front of the train, an oncoming train, and she dies.
Yes. Flies, the train hits, she flies off screen, it was crazy visual.
It was a
It was
poor
actually a
girl.
little comedic, I'm not gonna lie.
It was honestly a little bit, but like it was okay. I
It
wasn't
was
mad about it.
Yeah, I wasn't mad about it. Still fun, but that was just
Yeah.
the cold open of the show.
Right. And then we actually switch over to our true opening after the cold open, which takes us over to New York. And it's a totally different scene. You know, our cold open was really dark and gritty.
In the streets of London, it's all dark and cloudy and rainy.
Yup. And now we're here in New York. It's daytime and everything feels really sunny and warm. And we meet Helen, who works with the New York side of the Talamasca. And she's at their headquarters. And basically, she's been sent a gift.
Uh,
It's
Quite a lovely gift. It was in a beautiful box. If I received that
beautiful
on
box.
my desk, I would be like, "Oh my gosh, somebody loves me so much. This
Right.
box is so expensive."
It was like a beautiful gold box. It reminded me of, for anyone who's seen the animated version of Anastasia back in the day from like the 90s, she had like a music box and it low key gave me those vibes. I
Yes.
want it.
You don't want what's inside of it though.
No, 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 because what's inside of it is a human eyeball.
A human eyeball on a plaque in a
Yes.
beautiful box. Gorgeous imagery.
But not just any human eyeball, because they are able to confirm with a freckle on the eye that this eye belongs to Soledad, who is the woman from the first scene, the cold
Yep.
open, who
Hold
has died.
She's gone.
Yes. So our character, Helen, who works with the New York Talamasca, is convinced that this is a warning from someone named Jesper. Who Jesper is, we don't quite know yet.
Not yet.
But Helen insists that this means they're close and they need to find a replacement for this woman who's died to complete the mission that she started.
Whatever the mission is.
We don't know yet, but the goal is there's a mission. We need to find a new person. And this new person is going to be our main character, Guy Anatole, who we meet. He's sitting in a huge building. I really like the way they use the sets to change the tone of
Hmm.
a scene because, you know, we went from really dark to really warm, and now we're sitting in a really sterile building
Yep.
where this
Bleak
guy,
high-rise building, law firm.
yes, where this guy, Guy Anatole, that's his name,
His name
Guy is Guy,
his name is Guy.
and he's sitting there waiting to have an interview with the law law firm, and he seems pretty unsettled. And you're hearing kind of like whispers, but it's unclear whether or not this is something he's actually hearing
Yeah,
inside
they do
his
something
head.
with the audio. It's just like weird sound design. You hear like maybe whispers and some crackling.
Right. Right. It could easily be just a sound choice to show how busy the place is and that it's overwhelming him. We're not sure. But he ends up going into this meeting and it's not going well. He's interviewing for a spot at this prestigious law firm and they're kind of tearing him to pieces. It's not going well. There's this weird moment where he makes eye contact with one of the people who are interviewing him. You don't know what's happening. But
No,
then suddenly, guy who was just leaving turns around and suddenly he's full of confidence and he's answering all these questions that he kind of floundered on before. And we learn that he interned at a library throughout his college career. He was in college on a scholarship. His mother died when he was 9 years old from an OD, and he's had a rough life.
yeah. And he said, while y'all are out there in the Hamptons, I'm going to be here working.
Exactly. So he kind of turns the interview around. Surprisingly, he called them out on their shit, and they liked
They
that.
like that. You
So,
need to start doing that more in life.
exactly, this is a lesson.
Clearly,
Stand
it
up for
works. Call
yourself.
people out on their shit, everyone.
Exactly. When they say, "Why didn't I see you in the Hamptons this summer?" Be like, "Girl, I had bills to pay." Be so for real. Anyways, so things seem to have turned around. Guy goes to the bathroom, and that man that he made eye contact with from the meeting comes in and is like, "Wow, you really turned it around. I was looking at you and I was just thinking so hard to myself, stand up for yourself, guy."
It's like he's like, it's almost as if you heard me. And that's when the
Literally,
mic click. He did hear him.
he did. Guy can hear voices. This is his gift, what makes him stand out, and what's going to take him on a fun journey with the Talamasca.
Yes. A fun journey, we're not so sure.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a little bumpy, I would say. So, Guy's feeling good. He leaves the building, and that's when we find out that he's being tailed by Helen from the
Mm.
Talamasca. They end up confronting each other, and she wants to offer him a job. She knows about his gifts, and they're interested. But Guy is pretty happy with his new position at the
With
law
the
firm.
cushy job he just landed.
Yes,
Like, this strange woman is approaching me on the street and offering me a job. I already have a job that pays well. No thanks.
exactly. Who is this sketchy woman, and why is she talking to me? But Helen is pretty insistent. She offers him just $5,000. Just $5,000.
$5,000 is like $500
In this
in this
economy,
day.
it
Yeah.
truly is. But she offers him $5,000 just to sit down and hear her out. Guy doesn't seem all about it, but we quickly find out that he's broke.
Yeah, he's strapped for cash.
Yeah.
He is
You
late
know,
on rent. He's about to be kicked out. He
yes.
has 3 days to pay his rent or he's done for.
Exactly. That law firm might be great in the long run, but it's not going to pay his rent immediately. So he hears Helen out and she basically lets him know she has a job for him. She works with the Talamasca. They want to give him a job. He's still really hesitant. He spends a lot of time grilling Helen about who they are, what they're doing, where their finances come from. I feel like they had a really good back and forth here. It was
Yeah.
obviously an exposition scene to let us know the Talamasca is a nonprofit organization whose job is to control the supernatural world and be the firewall between the natural and the supernatural.
Yes.
But like rather than being a passive listener in the conversation, Guy really is like asking questions. Right. And he's very practical. He wants to know, okay, but how do you fund this? What's going on here? Um, it's kind of still doesn't go very well.
No,
He's very rightfully, honestly, and we're watching it as viewers, so we're like, "Come on, bro, like, get
I
with the
know. Let's join
program."
this fun mission. Oh my gosh, who cares?
Right.
All fake.
Exactly. Do it for the plot.
Do it for the plot, guy.
But, like, honestly, when you think about it, he has a overall very practical, reasonable reaction that a person in a normal world would have.
Oh my god, that's why his name is Guy. He's just every guy.
He's
Except
the
he
guy.
can listen to people's thoughts.
Oh my god. Truly, his name is gonna be a test for us. But so he's still not feeling it. He decides, you know what? I'm gonna go. And so he goes, but he takes his $5,000 because he's a practical man who has rent due.
Yes. He got bills to pay. And that was quick cash, so he was smart with that.
Exactly. But the $5,000 isn't the only thing in this envelope that he takes from Helen. Turns out there's a nice little letter in there too that he wrote to Santa Claus, presumably back when he was very, very, very young. And it was quite sad because he only asked for two things. He asked for shoes and a friend.
That is the saddest Santa wish list I have ever heard.
Well, he was very practical, I think,
Yeah.
which is in character for him. I think it's really telling that he asked for a friend. We really haven't seen him with anyone else other than work related things so far, but this is it's interesting. He asked for a friend. We haven't seen any personal life for him until this moment because seeing this letter prompts him to book a flight to Florida.
This whole trip could have been an email.
Yeah. He goes to Florida to see his foster mother. Could have picked up a phone and called.
Could have picked up a phone and called, but with the money he does not have, he booked the
Right.
flight to Florida.
He was like, I got $5,000. I can pay my rent and I can buy a plane ticket. Choices. So he goes to Florida and he meets his foster mother and they start talking about his childhood and how he came into her custody. And this is when he begins to realize that Helen and the Talamasca, but it seems especially Helen has played a crucial role in,
Basically funded his whole life.
yes,
They
not
placed
only
him in
fund,
the foster care of this woman,
yes,
paid
exactly,
for all his education,
yes.
everything.
This scholarship that he thought he was on was created by Helen and the Talamasca. So, this kind of sketches Guy out. He's like, everything he's known and achieved in life suddenly is not his own. It was
Yes, he feels
created
like
by someone else.
his scholarship was bought for him. He feels like it wasn't earned.
Exactly. Guy heads back to New York feeling probably even worse about the situation than he did before.
But
But
he's definitely
also,
more curious about the Talamasca.
exactly. Now he has even more questions. This pulls him back into the circle. I think if Helen didn't include that Dear Santa letter, that would have been the end of Guy's association with the Talamasca. But she knew what to do to pull him back in. So,
Manipulative.
yes, very clever. I like her. I like a smart girl. But so a guy goes back and he's, for his own purposes now, willing to hear Helen out. He
Yes,
he
because
needs
he
to
wants to know
know.
what the hell is going on. What do you
Exactly.
mean you've been involved in
Exactly.
my entire life thus far?
Correct. But the problem is the Telemasca's entire job is policing the supernatural world. But Guy is a skeptic and doesn't believe in vampires and witches and ghosts and
None of it.
demons. So Helen decides to take him on a little trip
Yep, she
to
needs to show
meet,
him proof so he can believe.
exactly. So she takes him to meet our favorite character,
Yes.
a fabulous
The
vampire.
queen, the diva.
The queen, the diva, she would give Lestat a run for his money, to be
I
honest with
wouldn't go
you.
that far,
She
but
would.
they would definitely sit at the same table.
For sure. Oh my god, I would live to see an interaction between them, honestly. Actually, I can see Lestat totally shading her the whole time.
Yeah, he would not stand for any of Burton's
Burton's
bullshit.
BS. Yes.
He would think he's a clown.
Oh, for sure. And it would be amazing. But so we meet this fabulous vampire named Burton, who is, I think it was what was it, 38 or 300, 39 or 348 years old, depending on how you track time, something like that. And I love his theory on how you track time because
Yeah.
I
Age
can
is
get with
just
that.
a number.
Age is just a number, and you can make that number up, is all I'm saying. So, Guy is still a little skeptical here. He doesn't know what's going on. But then an interesting thing starts to happen, and that is that Burton can also read Guy's
Yeah,
mind.
he's also telepathic. The guy tries to read his mind, and Burton talks back. And they don't do
Exactly.
that usually, so that freaks him out.
Right.
And only to freak him out more, he does some more crazy shit.
Right. So Burton is essentially like, who is this little bitch who's trying to pry in my mind? Because Guy's curious now. So he's prying even more. So Burton decides to show off all of his fancy little tricks. So he freezes Helen, and the only people left in the room still moving are Guy and Burton. And then surprise, blink of an eye, Guy is on the
The edge of a
windowsill. Yes,
building.
the edge of a building with no recollection of how he got there. Um, and Burton tells him to jump, and
He about
Guy
to do it.
almost
He took a
does.
step.
Yeah.
He took a step. And he was like, you know what? Maybe I will do that.
Yep. He said, you know what, baby. But then at the very last second, he like pulled himself back, which Burton, was impressed with. But basically, Burton takes this moment to flaunt his power over Guy, to let Guy know that you're just a small fish in a big pond, so don't get too arrogant. You're not the strongest person out here. Oh, and P.S., you cannot trust the Talamasca.
Yep. So now he has another reason to be suspicious of Talamasca. So
Yeah.
he dips the hell out of there. Once
Yes,
he unfreezes everyone, he's gone, and Helen goes after him.
exactly. So they're not on good terms. And then Guy, I think, again, was ready to walk away from the situation,
Hmm.
but he's sleeping and wakes up suddenly. I think he wakes up from a nightmare,
Hmm.
and we see his desk chair just kind of spinning. And on his desk chair is an open book. And we get close to that open book and we see that there's a passage underlined in red. And that passage says, "How many of these were your victims?" And then we see it's like a paragraph of names.
Uh-huh. But
But
one circled in red.
exactly. Only one name is circled in red, and that name is Anna Lemus. We don't know who this person is yet, but we're about to find out because this book is Interview with the Vampire, and wouldn't you know it, our favorite journalist, Daniel Malloy,
Written by the icon himself, Daniel Malloy. He's back in the scene.
he's doing a book signing. So Guy says, you know what? I'm gonna go find some shit out. And he goes and he gets in line for this book signing. And when he gets up to the front, he just puts that book down and he says, "Oh my God, I love this," because Daniel looks up at him with like expectation, like, yeah, who
Like,
should I
yeah,
make
this
it
is the
up to?
fan. This guy loves me. Everyone loves
Yes.
me.
Oh my God. Daniel Malloy is my favorite. Like he does a reading at the book signing too. And you can tell he is feeling it. He is so proud of
He is
himself.
soaking in the fame at this point.
Yes, he loves it. So Guy puts down the book and it's like, I don't got a name for you, but I got a page number for you." So Daniel flips open to this page, sees what's been underlined and circled, and then he writes a little note in the book. And it's telling Guy to meet him out back in 20 minutes. So, cut to 20 minutes later, we have a nice conversation between Daniel and Guy. And during this conversation, we find out that this name circled in the book is Guy's mother.
His actual birth mother, who we thought died.
Yes. And Daniel, being the good little journalist that he is, did a little research himself. So he produces a photo for Guy and hands it over. And this is when we find out that Daniel's mother is actually still alive.
Hmm.
And she's in London. And we know that she's alive because, as Daniel so kindly points out, when Guy's mother allegedly died when he was 9 years old, they didn't have Lululemon.
They didn't have Lululemon, did they? I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I wasn't alive.
I wasn't
So
alive.
at
Too
this
too
point,
young.
we're too young. We're little babies. We don't know that. So at this point, Guy realizes that something crazy is going on. His mom is seemingly alive in London.
Mhm.
And what do you know? That's exactly where Helen wants to send him to. So he finally has no choice. He has to essentially accept Helen's offer to work with the Talamasca to find out what's going on, where his mother is, if she really is still alive.
Mhm.
And that's going to be his entire, I think, like his goal throughout this show.
Yes.
Whatever they can give him whatever mission they want, but Guy's focused on his mom and figuring out what happened in his history.
Exactly, and that will be his plan going forward because that's the only reason why he agrees to even see Helen again, is to maybe get more intel about what has happened to his mother.
Exactly. So the episode ends with unspoken agreement with and it's kind of a little creepy. He's standing outside of the Talamasca building, just like staring at her as he gets rained on. But there's an unspoken understanding that okay, he's in.
Mhm.
He's in this.
He's
He's ready to do what it takes. And the episode ends.
and the episode ends. Initial first thoughts, it's a fun episode. I
Yeah,
really enjoyed it. But, like,
I
now
really
that,
enjoyed it.
like, we're reviewing it, I'm thinking, did Helen plant his mother's name in that book so he would be have more incentive to try to go on this mission?
Right. Yeah. Because a lot of everything that's happened so far, Helen has, subtly planted things. So we don't know how the book got opened and sat on a chair. Was it a vampire? Who knows? Maybe it was
Because
Burton.
Burton does work with the
Exactly.
Talamasca. So
Right.
we
And he
could have
can,
had him plant that book there.
yes,
And
he can
Daniel was
snap his
like,
pretty little
I
fingers.
didn't put that in the book. They did. The Talamasca, and they're always listening.
Exactly. Yes. Daniel very explicitly says that he has no idea who this woman is in this name. The Talamasca gives him information. He says this is a footnote in Interview with the Vampire. He doesn't know anything about it. So Helen is definitely pulling Helen, but the Talamasca as a whole, but Helen specifically, is
Because this
pulling a
seems
lot
like
of
a
strings.
personal mission for her.
It does. Yes. As you'll see in episode 2, we'll just briefly mention it here. It's very clear that this is something not the whole Talamasca are in on. It's very specifically Helen and the people under her charge.
Because, like, they don't even want anybody else to know about it.
Exactly. But we'll get into that more in episode 2. I'll just say for now that I really enjoyed episode 1.
Me too. So far, it was a good pilot episode. It's a good introduction. Like, stylistically, I wouldn't say it's as visually appealing as, like, Interview with a Vampire or Mayfair Wishes, but it's a
Yeah.
fun show.
Yeah, like, aesthetically, Mayfair Witches is probably my favorite. Literally just aesthetically. Like, the tone that they use, the sets, it's just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This is much more modern, clean cut. It's giving Jason Bourne, you know what I mean? But that's just visually. Who knows how that'll change? Because now we're gonna shift back over to London, during episode 2, and I think, we get a different vibe on
Yes,
that
we'll
side of
see how
the
the show goes from here. So we're about to get into episode 2. Okie dokie. So episode 2 of the Talamasca called, what's it called?
Dark Horse.
Dark Horse. I wonder why it's called that.
I wonder. Do you really not know the answer?
I don't remember seeing anything like that in episode 2.
It's because when Guy, after agreeing to work with Talamasca, he starts going through some intense training and they give him a code name, and his code name is Dark Horse.
Right, I forgot about that.
He also is like, really? Dark Horse?
That's probably why I forgot, because I'm like, that's corny. But
Yeah,
okay,
that's fair.
moved on from that.
Everyone, like, I'm sure if he could delete that from his brain, he would
Yeah.
have too. Especially that. Not to get ahead myself, but that 50 word, but that 50 like character password that he has to memorize too. Jesus.
Literally, that whole training montage when he's being introduced into the Talamasca and being trained, the whole montage, everything they showed him doing, I was like, you know what, I'm quitting. I'm not doing this.
Truly.
I'm not
Literally the
doing
moment they were like, 50-character password, I would be like, "Oh, I
I would
can't."
like to put in my resignation, actually.
Yes.
I'm not doing that.
I'm sorry. It's a miracle if I can recall anything that happened 5 minutes ago. Never mind a 50-character password.
Yes, we
Bye.
go to this montage, has to do all this crazy training. Like think they said in the episode, it's supposed to take a year, and they have to speed run
Yeah.
this in a week.
Yes. Yes, that's exactly what happens. It's crazy too, because he's like going through, like, they're like teaching him a code. They're like giving him a book, and it's like, this is your code book, and we're gonna send you messages, and you have to decode it like this, and this. I'm like, I mean, he went to law school though, so he can handle it, you know?
Yeah, he's used to the hard work, but like couldn't
No,
be
couldn't be me.
couldn't be.
Absolutely not.
And then like they start talking about him getting another book when he's done with that book, and
Yeah.
it's too much.
They're like, this is your favorite book until it's not, and you have a new one.
It's like, how long is this mission, by the way?
Right. And then they're showing examples too of like, they have like different spots where you can pick up the message that he has to decode. And like one of the things they show is like a trash can. Like, just reach right in here. And they do end up using one. So
Yeah, they do. So he's deployed to London to do this mission where he has to follow this mysterious hitman. What was his name?
what was his name? Was it Archie?
Archie, yes. So he has to follow Archie, see what his deal is. And he has to figure out like the internal divisions of our rogue elements that are involved in all that. So I do like how they set him up in London with his part-time job,
A freaking
a
like,
barker at a strip club.
yes, a barker at a strip club. So he just stands outside being like,
Sexy, sexy girl.
sexy
In
girl.
Russian.
Oh my
Strippers
God.
on the left.
It's so embarrassing. But hey, he gets used to it and he feels like a natural,
He
honestly.
did. The first time was awkward. The second time, he was real into it.
But he's
At one
definitely
point,
like,
he goes into the strip club to see one of the lap dances. I'm like, this is the saddest strip club I have ever seen. That looks like the saddest stripper. She hates her life.
truly, they're just like going through the motions. But he's like definitely, I think, a little stir crazy because he basically can't do anything right now. He's like
Exactly.
just on ice. He can't let anyone know. Like when they send him here, they give him a warning. They're like, okay, not even the London Talamasca branch can know about this.
Yes.
This is a secret from everyone except the New York branch. So he's there and he's got to lay low until he gets more orders.
Yeah. His one mission is to just tail Archie. He
Yes.
can't get involved. He can't intervene in anything. He just has to follow him. And that's his only mission so far.
He does not well at it too.
He's been tailing Helen for a while. You think he'd be better at this, but also
But
Helen's not
truly, like but you know, like all these people are going to have the same training as Helen and she was onto his shit. So,
yeah.
but anyways, while he's kind of out there chilling, he meets a girl
He
named,
what?
yeah, he goes to this little restaurant called, what was it? Porky's? Like,
You remember the name of the bar he randomly went to?
I wrote it down, but now I can't find it. But it was like some weird, like Porky Bellies or some weird name. And he goes in and he's having a drink. And then he meets this girl who's really like nice energy, a little quirky.
Little quirky.
Yep. And her name is Kevis.
Great name too. Love that.
And she too is like, what kind of a name is Guy? And she starts this like little thing like, you're my guy.
That's my guy.
That's my guy. It's cute. I also thought they had really good chemistry too.
I did.
But as she's like getting ready to leave, she opens up her bag and you see what looks like some kind of book in it. It gave like
old book, some
right,
old decrepit book that you
it's,
know is magical in some way.
yeah, it's giving grimoire. Like it's something going on there, and
he notices it, but I don't think
yes,
he connects anything because he doesn't even know what really this mission is about.
exactly. He doesn't. He has no idea at this point. So he definitely makes note of it, but then just kind of glazes over it. And Kevis invites him out later. And he does end up going and meeting her at a club, and then, you know, yeah, and they have some fun. They get to dancing, and then like
On the floor.
yeah, there's a
And then
really
this beautiful woman shows up.
yes, it's
Gorgeous,
weird though how it
stunning
happens.
woman. Yes, she's staring at him from across the room for a little bit. just staring at, not even across the room. She was like right next
She
to
was
them,
literally like a foot, I wrote it, a foot
literally
away from them.
staring at him. And he's like, yeah, like this.
So weird. And then they notice her, and so they kinda all 3, Kevis, this woman, and Guy all kinda start dancing together and making out a
Mhm.
little bit. And, then she's leaving, but as she's, like, getting ready to leave, she whispers in his ear, like, "What? You're in danger or something? Or
Yeah,
you
you are in so
much
much trouble.
trouble." Yeah, yeah.
And
And you're
like,
kind of, "What?"
what does that mean? Does that mean?
Guy doesn't really pay it too much mind though. He goes home, hooks up with Kevis, and then she is kind of acting weird once they're hooking up. She's like going on about how she's a rule breaker
I
and
know
she's
I'm
breaking
breaking
the
all
rule.
the rules. I'm just breaking all the rules.
Yeah, we got no context for it,
No.
but she's it's like a mantra.
Mhm.
And then when a guy wakes up the next morning,
I just
she's,
want to say I love the transition of him waking up, like her in bed,
oh my god,
nighttime,
yes, I
and
loved that
transition to his
shot.
daytime. I'm like, that was a great shot.
Yes, just like that solid, I mean, it was literally just a cut. That's all. They
Mhm.
were like, it's nighttime, he's laying there with her, and then cut daytime and he's still there, but she's gone. But it was just so clean. I really
Oh,
liked it
I
too.
love cuts like that.
It was good. I liked it a lot. So she's gone. He goes back to work, and then
Stripper,
he
stripper,
ends,
sexy, sexy.
yeah, sexy, sexy. And that's when he goes in to get to like eat something, and that's where he's sitting down, and there's like a little stripper, like
Yeah.
just literally, she's only swaying back and forth,
Yes.
like she's literally doing nothing. I can't blame her. She's literally doing nothing though. It was pretty depressing.
Must tip horribly there if she's that sad.
I know. Damn. But then he goes back out and essentially gets a message. He finds a message. I wasn't even sure how it worked. He like saw a phone booth and he happened to see like a white X on it. Goes in, like when he comes out from getting lunch, some guy is taking all these pictures down off the phone booth. So he runs over and digs through the trash and finds this picture with white X on it that he initially saw. And somehow that leads him to this location.
Yeah,
We
I don't.
don't, I rewound it and I paused on that freaking thing. It just looked like some kind
Was
of
it
sex ad.
something maybe in the training montage that we missed?
Maybe. Honestly, I zoned out a little during the training montage because I was like, I'm not gonna retain any of this.
That's why I didn't remember his name was Dark Horse.
Yep, I don't blame you. You know what? It only pulled me in because it was like 50 characters, and then your code name is Guy. I was like, oh my god. Anyways, so some whatever. He sees it. He knows where to go, and he ends up in some kind of like, I don't know. It almost looks like a university like field area, whatever. And he finds a trash bin.
Mhm.
And he gets a phone that's taped to the inside of it. And this brings him to another location where he then finds an envelope which has a file that he then uses his favorite book to decode. And that's how he gets his mission. And his mission is just straight up follow Archie, don't interact,
Do not interact.
just do recon.
It
Simple.
does not go that way.
It does not. Like, first, he follows Archie to a restaurant
Mhm.
and Archie's meeting with the head of the London branch.
Yes.
And it's like Guy is turning around and it looks like he's taking out his phone like he's gonna, it
You can take.
looks like,
Yeah.
right, he's pretending to take a picture of himself, but he's really filming the window where they're talking behind him. And right as he's doing that, freaking Jesper
Yes.
like walks, almost looked like they were about to collide, like right
Yeah. He
by.
he walks, almost bumps into his hand, and he has to lift his hand away, so he has to walk,
Yes, yes.
and you know that was purposeful.
Yes. And I found this really interesting because even though Guy has no idea who Jesper is in any way, shape, or form, he's intrigued and he follows him. He like leaves his spot where he was watching his target.
I think
And
it's because maybe he couldn't mind or something like that. He tried to, or he heard something that caught.
maybe it has to be something like that. They don't explicitly tell us in that moment, but something about him stood out. And Guy follows him and sees that he's joined the conversation with his target, Archie, and the head of the London house. So he goes back to his spots, tries to start listening in telepathically. And that's when we find out that Jasper can also hear minds. And he immediately zeroes in on Guy and is very intrigued.
Who's this here?
Yeah, he says it
And
right to his
like
mind.
the idiot, Guy looks back,
Right?
makes eye contact,
And
like,
then runs away.
you have one mission. Pretend you're not there.
Literally. And then background, I want to throw in here some background about Jesper and his relation to the London branch of the Talamasca is that it's basically disclosed to us in this episode that he's not technically the head of the London branch, but he's basically the head of the London
Yeah,
branch.
he's like a secret head.
Yes, but not so secret because even the employees know and they're not happy about it. So he's kind of just operating things from behind the scenes. But after Guy realizes that he's been discovered, he kind of, dips out.
He did.
But then he continues to follow Archie when Archie leaves the restaurant and he eventually falls into this building in kind of a sketchy area. And after Archie goes in, see shadows and overhear him arguing with a woman. It sounds like he's saying something like, "Where is it? Give it to me, blah, 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 blah." We don't know what it is still at this point, and we don't know what's happening. But
All you
he
see is
hits
the shadow of an altercation.
exactly. And he hits this girl, and Guy, who's been told not to do anything except watch and listen, decides he's going to follow Archie into the building. And clearly he has some intent to intervene.
Yes, I guess he does. Yes, he does. So he goes in there, and the scene he discovers is quite sad.
It's pretty horrific. It's pretty traumatizing.
It's pretty horrific, actually, yes.
He sees Archie covered in blood. This was
Now,
another part that I found interesting because he's on the ground, right? And he looks up into this full length mirror that's in front of him, and he first sees Archie's corpse through the mirror. So here's another instance where this director is using a mirror to show us a scene instead of giving us a direct shot first. So I really liked that. I thought it was interesting. But so Archie's down for the count. So Guy is looking around well, where's the girl?
what happened?
What's going on? There were two people here 2 seconds ago. What the hell? And he does find the girl, and she's hanging from the ceiling, clearly dead at this point. Although it was it looked like she'd been dead for longer than
It does, but it's hard to really
right. I mean, what do I know? I've never seen a dead body.
seen one.
So, anyways, it turns out this girl is Kevis.
Yes, it is unfortunately Kevis, and he takes it so hard.
Yeah, he's trying to save her when it's so clear she's already gone, and he's definitely taken aback. It sounds like based on what we saw and then based on after credits, hearing the actors talk, it sounds like he really connected to her and felt like this was someone who really saw him and appreciated him. So I think he had a real emotional connection.
Yeah, as we said earlier, his one wish to Santa was to have a friend, and he probably has never had a friend up until this moment.
Yeah,
So
I think he's someone who's really looking for connections. So he doesn't take it well, and it's not great. He wanders back to the area where he initially entered, and Archie, turns out, is still alive.
Just barely alive. I don't know how, because
yeah, he had his throat slit.
He was almost decapitated.
Literally. But he has enough energy and light in his eyes to just be book, clearly gesturing for the book.
The book.
In Kevis's bag that we saw earlier. And at this point, I think we all know this is the 752. This is a 752.
This is the
that everyone's looking for. And rather than, I don't know, listening to him or looking or anything, Guy, understandably, because, a guy's dying in front of you, but Guy holds his flashlight into this poor man's eyes as he dies. Just it's okay. It's okay. Poor Archie dies.
Yeah, and so human reaction, I think.
It is.
To seeing something
valid. Absolutely valid. I'm watching as a viewer. I have different motivations. But then, thankfully, Guy's brain starts working a little bit. Not fully, but a little bit. Because I think he hears some sirens. I'm not sure if they're really in the scene or... Okay. He hears some sirens. And his brain starts working. He's like, oh, shit. This is probably not going to be good for me if someone finds me here. My DNA is everywhere. I'm covered in blood because I tried to stop Archie from bleeding out. This isn't looking good. I should probably dip out. And so he does, without the book.
Without the frickin' book. But also, he has no idea what this book is, so.
True. Like, he doesn't even know he's looking for something called the 752, never mind the fact that it's a freaking book.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And he also realized he was told not to get involved, and he did.
Yes, exactly. Literally the one thing he was told not to do, he does. So, and that's where the episode ends.
Yep, that's where the episode ends.
Him fleeing. And then we get some behind the scenes. And I did like that some of the things that the actor said. He mentioned that about Guy's motivation. Obviously, it's to find his mother. But there's also a part of him that's kind of accepted being a part of the Talamasca because there's always been a part of him that really wanted to be a part of something.
Yes.
He's always sought belonging, and so being a part of something like the Talamasca makes him feel like he's a part of something bigger, even though he's still really doubtful of it. So I think that speaks to a lot of his motivation so far, and is probably going to also guide his actions as the show progresses. So yeah, I'm really excited. I like it so far.
I've seen the previews for how they do overview preview of the season. And it looks like it's gonna get real intense.
Yeah. I only paid attention to it, half attention to it, because I wanted to see a little, but I don't want to be too spoiled by it.
It really doesn't spoil anything. It's just random in voiceover.
I want to be shocked by everything. I would say my only critique, it's not really a critique, it's more like a warning, or not even a warning, it's like a concern, is that I feel like the whole appeal of the Talamasca is that it's this mysterious organization that we know so little about.
Exactly.
But a lot of this show is going to be exposing the mystery of the Talamasca.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. Because, as we said, it's a morally gray group of people, and we don't know what the line is for them.
Exactly. So, I don't know.
So I think we'll get a lot of character exploration with Guy and how he feels about the Talamasca going forward. Because I remember seeing in the previews, he ends up talking to Jesper, and they have a little talk about what Talamasca is. So I think that's going to be another.
I did see that part. It was almost like Jesper was trying to pull him over to his side.
Mm-hmm. I wonder, that's interesting. So I think that's going to be a good direction for the show to take.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think they're doing a really decent job so far of balancing both characters and their motivations and development, but also keeping a strong plot. So I'm excited. It's not Interview with a Vampire.
It's not
by any means.
I'll say that for sure. And it's just mostly because Interview with a Vampire is so stylistic in a way that the show isn't. It's hard to.
I agree.
Like I said, it's not really a horror. We can't classify this as a horror besides there being supernatural elements to it. But if you like a spy thriller, you will enjoy the show.
It's literally a supernatural spy thriller.
It's a supernatural spy thriller, and it's a fun time.
Yeah.
If it's not your thing, give it a try. It's a good show.
Total side note for any book listeners, if you like that kind of vibe, supernatural spy thriller, there's a book called The Rook. You should look that up. You might like it. Anyways, The Rook. It's so good. Your sister would love it, Kendra.
She probably read it.
She probably did.
Everything you've read, she's read, I'm sure.
I know. We talk about books through Kendra.
Literally,
never meeting in person.
Books, but my sister would come to me, she's ask Darcy if she's read this, and ask her how she feels about this. And then I do, and then you tell me this, and I have to go back and forth. I don't think you all have ever spoken.
No. We've never seen. I visited Kendra earlier this summer where she lives. We live in different states, and her sister was away on a cruise. What the heck? I finally come down to visit.
The week that you were here is the week that she was on a cruise.
Right. I was there for a whole ass week, too. It's not like I was there and gone again. I was there for a week. She was gone that whole week. But anyways, yeah, so that was episode 1 and 2 of Talamasca. And I'm looking forward to
I'm looking forward
more
to
episodes.
How many episodes is it going to be this season? I think it's 8, right?
God, probably.
I think it's a good short season.
I hope so. Let's see. Talamasca. I'm going to check right now. It's going to be 6 episodes long.
Really?
Yeah. And they dropped 2 episodes, so we only have 4 episodes left.
We only have 4 episodes left, you guys.
See, I like when we get 2 episodes like as a start to like really hook you in. But like when there's only 6 episodes,
No, I feel like after everything they set up, that's kind of worrying. The episode's
right,
an hour, so I'm like, hmm. But I feel like they are setting it up to have maybe another season or it to
right,
continue into
right. They might
the
be,
vampires.
yeah, I think they might be, growing in with some confidence because AMC has committed so much to the franchise. So they're probably thinking that, well, we'll set it up strong and get a season 2.
Yeah,
But I mean, they got me for now. They got me for now.
me
I'll be
too. I think this might be the kind of show that ends on a cliffhanger, though.
probably there'll probably be some big revelation, and we'll be like, "What?"
Now we gotta wait till season 2.
Yeah, yep, that's exactly the kind of BS they would pull.
And some
But yeah,
extra bits about like the Anne Rice universe. Like we heard that the Vampire Lestat, his music is going to be showcased in this season, so we gotta
yeah,
make sure to keep an eye out for it.
absolutely. Every time there was any kind of music, I was like, is that it? I'm excited. We
In the
we love
Vampire Lestat, I
music.
heard they finished filming for that.
Oh my god, I can't wait. We'll definitely be reviewing that when it comes out too.
And
All right, thanks for staying with us. Because this episode went so long, we're gonna make our review of Welcome to Derry a second episode. So it'll be like a double feature this week.
yeah,
And then next week, when, it's just 2 episodes to look at instead of 3. Maybe we can condense
double it up.
everything into one. This
Yeah,
was a lot.
double feature.
True double feature. All right. So we will see you shortly with Welcome to Derry.
Yep, Welcome to Dairy, episode 1. We're very excited about it, and we hope you tune in too to see our thoughts. Because I think we haven't talked about it. But I think
No,
both
we haven't talked
good.
about it at all yet. It'll be a fresh take. And we'll be back next week with episode 3 of Talamasca. So hope to see you then as well.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.